What's up, YouTube? We are back with another video. So today is our very first episode of Feed That Man Sundays. And what Feed That Man Sundays is, you know, our girls and our guys, we get together and we feed our mans every Sunday. So this will be a reoccurring thing every single Sunday. Today's recipe is very simple. We have blackened salmon with jumbo shrimp, linguine. So this was super simple, but yet good. I want to start y'all off nice and slow. So without any further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into this recipe, honey, because it's Sunday and we have to feed that man. So let's get into this recipe. So here I have jumbo shrimp. They are peeled, deveined, and washed. And here I have a few pieces of salmon. I do not like to have the skin on, so we already went ahead and washed and peeled the skin off. So this is all the meat that you would need. So the first step that we're going to do, you're going to wash. But after you wash your salmon, we're going to go ahead and take a paper towel and we're going to pat it dry. So what this does is ensure that we get a nice crisp on our salmon when we go to fry it in our cast iron skillet. So you just want to remove all the water that you can from both sides of your salmon. Now we're going to go ahead and season. So I started off with a little bit of garlic powder. And just a heads up, guys, when you guys are dealing with seafood, over seasoning is not it, because it's naturally a little salty. So you do not want to over season. So I very lightly season both the salmon and the shrimp. So now I'm sprinkling just a little bit of salt, like you can barely see the amount of salt. But your non-salt based seasonings, you can go ham. So I have fresh cracked pepper, a little bit of Old Bay, and then you're gonna flip it over and we're gonna season both sides of our salmon. So just repeat these steps and then again go in very lightly. I did add a little bit of paprika to this side. So this is what we're working with. So it is well seasoned, but it's just not salty, and this is what you want. So now we're gonna go ahead and fry these babies up. So before we fry, I did put our linguine noodles, you know, just follow the instructions on the box. Very simple. And then I have a cast iron skillet with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And once that gets nice and hot and smoky, you're going to add your salmon to your pan. So we don't want to overcomplicate salmon. It's very simple. So you're going to cook it on medium-high heat on each side for 4 to 5 minutes. So depending on how much of a crisp you want, that would determine how long you fry it on each side. I was going for the blackened salmon, so I cooked mine 5 to 6 minutes on each side. Once you have cooked your salmon on each side, look how pretty it is, y'all. Yes. You're going to transfer it over. I used a cookie sheet that had a little bit of aluminum foil, and then you're going to finish it off in the oven for about 10 minutes on 400. Now, the same skillet that we use to fry our salmon, we're going to add some garlic paste to, and this is going to be the base for our Alfredo sauce because we're making it from scratch, y'all. We're not doing the jar. And then we added some butter. And what the butter is going to do is help release all that yummy flavor from the salmon that got stuck to the bottom of the pan. So you just want to work that around until your butter is fully melted. And then you want to make sure that you're able to unstick those seasonings from the bottom of the pan. So I used about 2 quarts of heavy whipping cream. Now, if you do not have heavy whipping cream, half and half does work also. So we're going to go ahead, and as you can see, all of those seasonings and flavors, they rise to the top, and that's exactly what we wanted. So it has been about 10 to 12 minutes, and our salmon is nice and beautiful. So I just pulled that out of the oven. So we're going to let this rest while we finish up with our Alfredo sauce. So you want your heavy whipping cream or half and half, whichever you choose. You want it to kind of come to a boil. Be careful because you don't want to burn it or you don't want it to kind of clump up on you. So once it starts rumbling just a little bit, you're going to go ahead and season. I add a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of salt. All the seasonings that you use to season the salmon, you're going to season your sauce with it as well. The only difference is I did add a little bit of cayenne pepper after the paprika because we wanted our sauce to have a little kick. We like spicy in our household. But if you do not like spicy, that step is optional. You can just add paprika and it'll be just as good. You can also add a little bit of jerk paste to this. So once we have got our seasonings well incorporated, I added some shaved Parmesan. And this cheese, it melts really nicely without making the sauce like lumpy. So I had shaved Parmesan and then I have shredded Parmesan. So you want to add the cheese in gradually. So I added a little bit. I started with a little bit. You go in, you kind of stir it around and see where that takes you. If it's thick enough for you, cool. If not, go in and add some more. But just add a little bit at a time. You don't want to dump it and have it too cheesy because we're not making macaroni and cheese, y'all. We're making pasta. So as you can see, I tested it out a little bit and then I went back in and just add a little more cheese at a time until I got to the consistency I wanted. I do like my Alfredo a little bit thicker, but I don't like runny Alfredo. So I ended up using about a whole container of the Parmesan. So this is a pretty good consistency here. As you can see, it is a lot thicker from when we first started. So I just want to give it a chance to kind of melt down in, and then now we're going to add our pasta. I did drain the pasta. So you want to add the pasta in a little bit at a time as well. You don't want all of the sauce to kind of dry up in the pasta. So you have to be careful with how much pasta you're going to add to the sauce. If you want to keep the sauce on the side, that is perfectly fine. But I wanted mine nice and incorporated. So I just added a little bit at a time, gave it a nice little toss. So I'm going to let that simmer. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and get started on our shrimp. So as I said before, these are already washed, peeled, and deveined. And I do take off the tails. We don't want to be peeling. It's not a seafood boil. We want to enjoy our pasta. So peel off that tail, please. And I sprayed the pan with a little bit of non-stick spray, the olive oil one. And then I went ahead and with a little bit of vegetable garden seasoning from McCormick and a little bit of garlic powder. Again, you don't want to over season your seafood because it is naturally salty. And then I also sprayed a little bit of the Pam spray, a little bit more, and added a little bit of paprika and some dried parsley and cilantro. So as you can see, we didn't toss or flip around our shrimp too much. And this is what we wanted. We wanted that nice, like, crisp sear mark on it. So leave it alone. I know as hard as it is, you want to stir and you want to flip. Let it sit for a little bit, especially while you season. And then this is how you achieve that look of the shrimp. So now you're going to flip the shrimp over. And you really don't have to season both sides of the shrimp because once the end towards it's done, we will, give it a stir and we'll roll it around so that they're all seasoned properly. So it's time to plate. And we're going to start off with our base, which is our linguine. We're going to add our beautiful salmon to the top. Let's not forget the shrimp. And you can also add your shrimp to the pasta. I thought it was better for plating and presentation purposes, so that's why I didn't. But feel free to. So you're going to take some of your sauce from the pan, and you're going to spread it over, your salmon, because we want our salmon to have a little sauce. And then I went in with some dried parsley, and then we're going to add some more of that shaved Parmesan. Y'all, look, get into it. Who need Olive Garden? And this is our end result to our pasta. So it came together very nicely. My man's, he enjoyed it. If you make this recipe, please leave down in the comments below how you enjoyed it and how much your family enjoyed it and your man enjoyed it, okay? So thank you guys for tuning in to Feed That Man Sundays, and we'll be back with another video.